Good evening, Stampers. This is Pat from Pat's Card Corner, and welcome to another version of Therapy Thursday. My name is Pat Dominici. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and thanks for joining me tonight. So, it's been a while since I've done one of my Therapy Thursdays. I took some time off in December and half of January, almost 2/3 of January, but I'm excited to be back. I'm finally getting able to stamp again, and life is good. So I'm just gotta refresh my computer here for a second and make sure that I can see everybody and everybody's comments. So there we go. Hope everybody is doing well. Hey Laura, nice to see you back. I've got a fun card to make tonight. This is going to be a fun fold card because, you know, I like fun fold cards, and it's also a Valentine card, and it's also, we're going to use two stamp sets. They're both new. This one, Country Bouquet, is from the January through April mini catalog that came out at the beginning of January. And this Adorable Owls is one of the Sale-A-Bration stamp sets that you can earn with a $50 purchase. So, and these are so cute. I just like these little owls. And actually my upline, her team name is Night Owls, so this was kind of perfect for our team too. Hey Meg, it's good to see you back, or see your name pop up. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully some other people will join us. I know it's been a while, so they might be out of the habit of watching, but hopefully they will come back and we're going to do something fun. So these are the two stamp sets, and this one actually comes with this punch too. Hopefully yeah, I got to figure out how to, there you go. So you can see it, and it makes these little heart things. So sometimes with the light, it kind of gets a little weird with the shadows. So anyway, I'm going to move these out of the way, and let's talk about the supplies that we're going to need. Let me put these over here. Okay, so the supplies that I'm using, this is Calypso Coral cardstock, and this is 5.5 by 8.5. And you're also going to need another piece of that same color cardstock, and that one, let's flip it right side up, is going to be 3 by 8.5. We're going to do some scoring and cutting with those. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper. You can use whatever you want. I chose to use, and my mind just went blank, the name of the paper. Hold on. I had to go find it. This paper is in the annual catalog, but I chose it because number one of the pieces had little hearts on it, and oh gosh, what my phone's doing. Hopefully no one is trying to call me. And this one has trees on it. You know, owls, they are always in trees, so that's why I picked this one. I am going to show you the whole piece though of this one, just because at the bottom of this one is some little like greenery. So the entire piece, which I don't have a piece of anymore, this is all I have left, has like, it's all trees with this border on the bottom. So, but for this card, I'm only using the top part because I use the other part on my other card. So anyway, and these pieces are both 4 by 5.25. So you're going to need 2 of those pieces. We are going to do some cutting with one of those also. And this piece is Smoky Slate. And this piece is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And you're going to need 2 pieces of basic white, and those are 3 by 4. And then you're going to need some scraps to stamp on. So we are going to be stamping some of those cute little owls and some hearts, so you will need some stamps or some scraps to stamp. So, oh, hi Irene. Oh, I'm sorry you're sniffling. Hey Margaret. Oh, good. I'm glad you're going to actually craft with me tonight. That's more fun. Okay, so we are going to put these aside so we can do some stuff with these 2 pieces, and then we're going to, so you will need your trimmer, your score trimmer. So the first thing we're going to do is, you could fold this in half, but I like to score it myself. So this, on the 8 1/2 side, you're going to score it at 4 1/4. And I'm going to move my cutting blade out of the way so I don't actually mistaken and do that. So this is 4 1/4. And then we're also going to score this piece, which is the 3 by 8 1/2, and we're also going to score that at 4 1/4. So only one measurement. You have to remember where to score. Okay, so we're going to set this aside, and we're going to bring this one back. So I am going to go ahead and fold it, because we're going to do some cutting with this one. And I'm going to crease it really good. I'll move this out of the way just for a sec. Okay, so we're going to cut this so that the front panel is cut on the diagonal. And so you're going to open it up with the bumpy side in the middle. And we're going to cut from this corner to this corner. So when it's opened up, on the right-hand side is the side that we're going to cut. And what you're going to do is you're just going to line up where the score line is in one track, and then you're going to line the other one, the pointy corner, on the other side. So you kind of might have to like finagle it just a little bit, because sometimes when you move one, then you got to move the other one. So you try and get it at the same part. We are going to cut this, so no scoring, so get your cutting blade out. So because this is a corner, I kind of like to start up a little bit and then go down. That way you don't mangle the corner. And you can see, there we go, 2 pieces. Okay, super easy, right? Okay, so we do have one more piece to cut. So I'm going to move those out of the way. And you will need one of your pieces. You can use any designer paper. I just chose this because I liked it with the owls, but you can use any designer series paper. If it has a directional pattern on it, like this one does, you want to make sure that your pattern is up and down, like this one. And we're also going to cut this one on the diagonal the same way. So we're going to go from the top left to the bottom right. So I'm just going to move that around until I get both my corners in the track. I think that looks good. Hold it down. And again, I'm going to not start at the corner so I don't squish it. And there we have 2 pieces. Okay, so I'll move this out of the way because we are done using this now. Get those over here. There we go. Okay, so the 2 top pieces, we're going to set those aside. I'm actually going to make another card with these because I thought, why waste these? We're going to make something else. So, but these are the ones that you're going to need for this card. And this piece is going to be glued right to this piece. And you'll see that it fits in there just right, and you have just the right amount of space, a little bit of space evenly around. So we're just going to glue that down. Oops, I forgot to take my sticky note off the back. All right, so I am going to use a little bit of glue. Or you can use your Stampin' Seal, whatever you like. I'm using glue on this one only because I want to make sure that the points of the card get tacked down too. And sometimes with the Stampin' Seal, you've got to run over the edge. So, okay, so there is one piece. Just gonna get that down real quick. All right, so this piece right here is going to go in the middle, just like that. Whoops, you know what? I'm missing a piece. Huh. All right. On my original card, you can do it this way, and I'm going to, but on my original card, I also had a mat behind there, but I'm gonna go get it. Well, maybe not. I'll show you the other card when we're done. You can see which one you like better. All right. So if you're going to put a mat behind this one, this would be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, because it's 4 by 5 1/4. So we are not for this one. So you're just going to put that down just like that. This is going to go there, and now we're going to work on the other part of our card, which is this piece and these pieces. All right. So this is the piece that was 3 by 8 1/2. We scored it down the middle, so I'm just going to fold it and crease it really good. Okay. Hey, Sharon and Ann and Carol. Oh, I got all kinds of people watching. All right. Sorry, I had to look at my thing. This piece, which is the smoky slate piece, is going to go right on top of there. Not sure why I picked smoky slate. I just grabbed it. I think it's because it's one of the other colors that's in that paper. But you could also use crumb cake. That would be pretty too. This is going to go on there. This piece is going to go on here, on top. So one of these pieces is going to go on top. So we're going to put that on. Yep. Okey-doke. Just a little bit of layering. I don't know, I like layering. Okay, and this piece is going to go in the middle, but we're gonna stamp on this one a little bit, and then we're going to do some stamping. I'm just gonna set these aside for a minute because we're gonna do some stamping of our little owl. So the owl that I picked for this card is this one down here with the little bow tie, because I thought he was kind of cute. So I'm just going to take some Memento black ink and ink up my stamp. You could stamp it right on there, but I wanted to cut him out because, you know, I'm weird that way, because I wanted to pop him up a little bit. So I am going to actually stamp 2 of these because I'm going to need one for my other card too. So as long as I've got this out, I'm just going to stamp the other one. I might even color them at the same time. All right, so to color this little guy, I use my Stampin' Blends marker. Let me move this out. Let me clean my stamp off before I get stuff everywhere. So to color him with, I have all my little Stampin' Blends right here. I have a whole pile. So I use soft suede and crumb cake to do my owl. I used Calypso Coral, which is the color in here, to do his little beak and his feet. His bow tie, I did with Tahitian Tide, and I did his eyes in Pool Party. And Margaret, who's watching, she just loves Pool Party. That's one of her favorite colors. And she's probably rolling her eyes at me right now because that's really, it's not. So anyway, so I'm going to start with his little feet. And I'm using the skinny end, and I just colored his little feet in. So I'm going to do some coloring. 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 So I'm going to hopefully I can have a little chat while I'm coloring. Oh, are the measurements in your post correct? My white piece is bigger than the matte piece. I will get my ruler out. I'm hoping they are correct. So my white piece, oh, it's not. I think I told you 3 by 4 and they're not 3 by 4. They're 2 3/4, sorry, by 4. They're 2 3/4 by 4, not 3 by 4. I'm not sure where I put my little note. Here, let's fix that. So if you're watching this, and hopefully if you've gotten this far, this should be 2 3/4. The white piece, that little white piece is 2 3/4 by 4. Not both of them are that size. So I hope I got the other sizes right. So thank you, Laura, for fixing that, and only because you're trying to stamp at the same time. And I told you wrong. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to color this little guy's feet while I'm here. That way I only have to color once. And also we're going to do his nose. And flip this around. His little nose. Kind of fill him in. I missed a little bit. All right. So I did his bow tie in Tahitian tide because I don't know, I think aqua and orange kind of go together. To me, this is like a really kind of dark turquoise aqua color. So, oops, let me turn this around. You know, you could color your owl any color you wanted. Doesn't have to be brown, or you can color his tie any other color you wanted to. Use a little bit of dark, a little bit of light, although these kind of look a little bit the same to me. Okay. His eyes I did in Pool Party. So I did his, I guess, what is it, the iris part of his eye, this part of his eye, the darker color, and I kind of went over it twice a little bit to make it a little bit darker. And then the bigger part of his eye, I did in the lighter blue, which I'm going to do in just a second here. So that is the dark Pool Party, and this is the light Pool Party, and just doing this part of his eye, so it's a little bit lighter. Might have to do the other one over. I think it depends on the light. It looks a little, this one looks a little bit darker. Might have to go over the other one a little bit more. There we go. Okay, and then I did, this one is Soft Suede Dark, and I just kind of went around the outside of his head and his little ears, and I guess kind of like, I'm not sure what you call that, the top part of his head and his wings and part of his body in this color. Okay. Can't see what I'm doing. I got shadows on my lighting is not the best here. I don't want to do that. I'm going to flip this one around. These guys are really very cute. I wish they had dies for these, because then I could cut them. I didn't want to have to fussy cut them, but I am going to fussy cut them. They go pretty fast though, because you know I like to fussy cut too. If you've watched me enough, you know I do like, I don't mind doing that. Some people don't like it at all, but it's kind of relaxing to me sometimes to cut. So I'm not sure how you all feel about that, but that's how I feel. All right, so this is the light soft suede, and I'm just gonna kind of color in his little body down here and over here, and his little wings. I've also seen him colored in smoky slate and gray granite, and it's really cute when he's like a little gray owl. I kind of think this is more like a little barnyard owl, because I think they're more brown. I don't know, maybe not. All right, I'm gonna get this little guy. Get his little wings. And there's really no particular order you need to color anything in. I just kind of pick something. You can do his body first and then do the rest of him later. Just kind of depends on what you like. This is crumb cake, and that's what I'm going to do the other part of his little, I am going to kind of go around his eyes because they're so cute. It makes him look a little more wide-eyed if he's a little bit darker there. Right. And there we go. And then I'm just going to color in this part of him. I am going to go over this part a little bit more, just kind of blend it in. Sometimes when you first do it, it takes a minute for it to kind of dry a little bit. So you can go back and add more so it'll be a little more shaded, or so you don't really see that line quite so much. But it does kind of give it a little bit of subtle shading. And put his little body down here. Isn't he cute? I just love him. Kind of reminds me of a cartoon character. I'm not sure which one, but maybe it's just the big eyes. They're just really cute. We're going to give him a little bit more up here. Don't want to look like too much like he's got rings on his eyes. And you can kind of see as it dries, it kind of blends in a little bit. All right, so I'm going to move that out of the way. I am going to fussy cut these little guys. And this just kind of goes, you do want to leave a little bit of white around it. You know, you don't have to be perfect. There is no such thing as being perfect in fussy cutting. You just try and do your best you can to get it kind of even. And just don't cut his feet off, because that would be bad. And I'm trying to cut farther away from me. And sometimes I'm looking out of the wrong part of my glasses, and then I'm not looking at it quite right. You just have a few little hairs that stick out over here, so, or feathers. I guess they're feathers. No, not hairs. Owls have feathers. So you just kind of wiggle your scissors a little bit, and that takes care of that. Like I said, you know, just do the best you can, and it's going to look great. almost done here. Has anybody else gotten this little owl set yet? Or have you made any cards with it yet? This is actually the first card I've made with these, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one while I'm here, just because, so I don't have to come back and cut it later. There are two other little owls that come with this on here too. I just happen to stamp both of these the same. There's one that has a little party hat on, great for birthday cards, because he looks like he's going to a party. And the other one, if I find my stamp set, here you can look at it, and the other one is kind of flying away. So, also very cute. So he would be kind of cute. You could put a little banner in his arms, kind of thing. Anyway. So, like I said, this is one of the Sale-A-Bration items that you can get if you make a $50 or more product purchase, not including shipping and tax. This is before shipping and tax. So, and actually, if you bought the other bundle and maybe a little bit of paper or some adhesive, you'd have $50 and you could get both these sets and make these cards. The other stamp set does come with the punch, like I said, and we are going to do a little bit of stamping for that one too, as soon as we finish these owls. All right, here we go, two little owls. Okay, so we are done with that. This is the other stamp set that I'm going to use for the card, because I want these little hearts right here. I am going to tell you a little hint or trick when you're putting these on. So the hearts are photopolymer stamps, and because it, you know, this little piece down here can bend, so when you're putting it on you might go, oh, here, but then it's not going to fit in the stamp. So the best way to do it is I just kind of drop it upside down on my, I got a piece of paper there, I just kind of drop it and then put the block on it, so it's exactly how it's supposed to be. That way when you're stamping, I'm going to stamp this, it'll be in the right place for when you're cutting these out. So these two are connected, but when they cut as two separate pieces. All right, so I'm going to stamp this actually twice on two pieces. One, I'm going to stamp in Calypso Coral. I'm just going to stamp it up. There is some shading on this, so and you do want this smaller heart to be close to the bottom of whatever piece of paper you're using, because when if you put it up too far, then when you go to put it in your punch, which it's going in this way. If you put it in or up too far, then you're going to have to cut part of it off so that you can get these lined up. So you can see that they line up right in there. And I just kind of lightly press it down and then cut. Now I have two of those. These are two little leaves. One of the other part of this will punch out two leaves, and it punches them both out at the same time. So now I have two of those, and I also want to clean this off because I'm going to stamp it in a different color, and don't want to make a mess there and don't want to mix my colors up. So the other color that I'm going to stamp it in is the Tahitian Tide, which is the color of his little bow tie. You haven't gotten your new books yet? Oh my, okay. Well, I know that they were sent to you, Miss Sharon, so I will make sure I get some in the mail to you. Actually, you should have gotten them in December. So, because I always send one to myself at the same time I'm sending the catalogs out, because they are sent by Stampin' Up. I had them send them this time. Sometimes I do them myself. I have another piece of card here. And I got mine in December, so you should have gotten them in December, but I will make sure you get some. And this is the blue. Okay. And I'm just going to put that in here. We're going to punch those out. Just going to get it lined up here. And there's my two blue hearts. I don't need those. Okay. All right, so now we're going to bring this back. I have something fun to show you later too. So this is the little card that we did before. I am going to stamp down here on the bottom. I almost forgot that. And I am using one of these because I wanted to make this a Valentine's Day card. So I am using the Just Wanted to Say and then Happy Valentine's Day. And I'm going to stamp both of those in the Tahitian Tide. So this is my other piece, which is 2 3/4 by 4, not what I had in my post, but I will fix that. And one of these, this one, where did I put it? Here it is. This is the I Just Wanted to Say. You're going to want to stamp it near the, I should have probably stamped it before. You're going to want to stamp it near the bottom because this little piece has to open up, and it's going to open up on our card, but we're putting other things on it, like the little owl and some hearts. We're going to put some hearts on it, but it can't, these hearts can't go over the top because this has to be able to open it up on our card. So you want to make sure that you get your sentiment far enough down so that these can still go on there, but and they're not off the top of the card. You don't want anything hanging off. All right, so that was that one. And then this one says Happy Valentine's Day. This is going to go on the inside of that. So I do want to leave a little space to write. So this, I'm going to move those off just for a sec. Fold this up so I don't accidentally stick my hand in it, because that would be me. I'm going to open this up. This is going to go on the inside of here. So we're going to go ahead and glue that in. Yep. Oops, my glue is getting stuck here. There we go. Hopefully that made it out. All right, I'm going to put those in the mail to you tomorrow, Miss Sharon, to make sure that you get them. All right. Okay, so this is going to go like this on the card. So you're going to flip that up, and then this would open up like that. So you can just open it up, and we're going to put glue on the back, and you just want to center it right on your paper. So just going to throw some adhesive on the back. And you just want to put it right in the middle. So it's kind of even on all 4 sides. And then that's going to flip up and over, and it's going to go on like that. This little guy is going to go on here. I am using dimensionals to put him on. I have the little mini ones because I want to get close to his little ears and his little feet. They just kind of fit a little better on, and his little wing over here. I'm going to throw one over here too. And then I've got something so fun to show you. It's a fun Christmas present I got from my daughter. But you have to wait till I make a mess, then I'm going to show you. So these are going to go right here. And you can use, if you want to use two hearts like that, or if you want to do the blue ones, you can do either one. On my original card, I used the blue one, so I think I'm going to do the opposite on this card, and then I'm going to show you both of them. So I am going to put dimensionals on the back of here too, as soon as I find what I did with them. And if you use the little ones, you can get kind of right down in the corners of this little guy. I'll put one, I'm going to put extra because I have to show you my fun thing I got. I'm going to put two on here. All right. And let's just take these off. I'm just throwing them on here because we're just going to kind of layer them on here however you want. And there is your card. You can put bling on here too. I just don't have any at the moment, but it goes like that. I'm going to show you the other one I did. This is the other one I did. I told you that I had forgotten the matte piece. This one actually has it on there. And you can see the difference between the blue or the Calypso Coral. Looks the same. This is the other paper, the other part that has the bottom piece like I showed you earlier. So that looks a little bit different there on the bottom. So that is the card. So kind of fun, easy to do. But you also had extra pieces. You had these extra pieces, and I thought, well, we need to do something with those. So that's why we have these other little owl. So what you need for that, I just have a piece of basic white cardstock that I folded in half. This is 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it down the middle at 4 1/4. And so I'm going to move these out of the way. So we need this little guy back. I have another piece of that paper, but I want to use the other end of this one. So this is 4 inches, and I'm just going to cut it so I can have the little pretty bottom at 5 1/4. Instead of using the plain white, or the plain without the trees on the bottom. And then this piece here is 1/8 of an inch bigger. So this piece is 4 1/8 here by 5 3/8 that way. So 4 1/8 and 5 3/8. And that way we can just put it on just like this. But this little piece here is going to go on top of here. So like that. So because I wanted to use up this piece, so oops, I don't need that on the back. So we're just going to put that right on top. I guess you could cut that in half and butt them up against each other, but I think it's just easier just to kind of lay them right on top. So that's what I'm going to do. And this is just an easy way to use up your other piece. If you had paper that did not have a direction on it, you could make 2 cards. This one has a direction, so you can't flip it the other way because then the hearts would be upside down. Although I guess they could be like little bird feet, but to me they look like hearts, so that's why I picked that one. And then it's just going to go right on top of here. Super easy, and it really doesn't require you to have too much more stuff because you already had the paper. And like I said, this is just a basic white piece of white cardstock. This is just going to go on the front just like that. So it kind of mimics the other one where it's diagonal. just going to kind of center it on there. And then I needed something to put the little owl on, so I went into my little drawer of what I call my drawer of tricks. What I call my drawer of tricks. So I don't know if anybody else does this or just me, but I have this little tray I got from the Dollar Tree, and I cut extra sometimes, and then I just throw them all in the tray, and when I'm looking for something, I just grab one. So we're going to use this big circle, and I'm going to use one of these, because we're going to put him right in the middle. Super easy, but it's just, I just have extra stuff, and that way I get to use it up, and I don't have to sit and cut, and I can create faster because I'm not sitting and cutting. So we're just going to put that right in the middle. We're going to throw him on some dimensionals, or throw dimensionals on him. Since we already colored him, he's already ready to go. And sometimes when I'm doing stuff myself, I stamp extra at the same time. So I actually probably have a couple of these little owls already stamped, just waiting to be colored, so I can put them on something else. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of these. Look, I have many little, probably way more dimensionals than you need, but you know, I'm going to show you how I clean these up now, because you know how when you have dimensionals, you're carrying the little pieces around with you, and they get stuck to your clothes, they fall on the floor, they get stuck to your shoes. I find them in the bathroom. I find them everywhere. I'm also going to stamp a sentiment on here, and I chose one that came from this that says "Hoot Hoot, you're so cute." So there we go. I am going to stamp that in the blue because I just like this blue. We're just going to hopefully get it right in the middle. Nope, close enough. And then I'm going to use my extra hearts here and put those up there maybe. What do I do with my dimensionals? Hello. Gotta have more. I use a lot of these. I don't know about anybody else. So we're just gonna throw this on here. You can put Happy Valentine's Day on this one too, or you can put anything you want. This could be a birthday card. It could be anything. I'm gonna put some more of these on here. I think my other one, when I made my other one, I just put one of these hearts on, but I feel like having two today. All right. We're just gonna throw this up here. This up here. There we go. And there you have another card. So there's, oops, that's not the one we made. These are the two we made today. This is the one that I made earlier. You can see it's a little bit different. And that one I only used a little one. You can also put bling on here, on these too. So however you want. And now so these are the cards. I hope you like them. So, and I'm going to show you this fun little thing I bought. I didn't buy it. I got it for Christmas. I'm going to get these little things off of here and then show you. So you can see I have all these little things here. Throw my little scraps back over here. My daughter bought this for me. It's got little brushes on the bottom, and it's got batteries in it. And when you turn it on, this little thing, it'll suck stuff up, and it vacuums up all the stuff. Isn't that cool? And it's all inside here. You just turn it off, and when you pull the top off, there's all little pieces, and you can just dump them in your trash. And whoop, that one had a sticky thing on it. And then you just put it back on. Isn't that cool? Whoop. She says she's seen them on, she actually took a trip. She used to live in Korea. She took a trip to Korea, but and she bought it while she was there, but she's seen them on Amazon. I have no idea what they're called, but it's just like a little thing. It's got a little off-on switch, and it just sucks up all your stuff. I love it. It's on this one. Pretty cool, huh? There we go. All right, so here's the cards back. And whoop, there's 4 of them. So I hope you'll give this a try. You know, opens like that. There you go. So I hope you had a good time tonight. I hope you'll try these cards. I will correct the dimensions for the white piece in my picture when I get off. And if you need a catalog and did not get one, just let me know in the comments. Send me a message, send me an email, and I will get one out to you. So, but you really need to try these little owls. They are so cute. All right, I hope you have a good night. I hope to be back next week with another fun card to make, and have a great evening. See you next time.